Salute. It's your boy Game of Kids, Scaly Legion, and Knicks back at you with another one. Before we get started, please hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell so you get each and every notification for each and every video I put out. We're starting to get closer to the dog days of summer, so you know the rumors are going to be popping up. The draft talk is right there, so guys, please be subscribed so you get each and every video. I'm going to be pumping out more content. Getting deep into this draft, getting deep into these trade rumors, so let's get to it. Kelly Oubre of the Golden State Warriors and the Knicks seem to have mutual interest, according to Mark Berman. Now, obviously, it's Mark Berman, so you got to take it with a grain of salt because everybody knows Mark Berman. But it would make sense that Knicks need a little bit more of a dynamo at that small forward wing position, and Kelly Oubre could possibly be a fit for the Knicks. Now, Bob Myers and Steve Kerr seem to want to bring Kelly Oubre back, even though Bob Myers seems a little bit non-committal at the time, given the fact that they are at $168 million on the books regarding their cap. And this is without extending Steph Curry, who may command a $50 million per contract on his next contract, given the dynamic play and the value that Steph Curry has for the Golden State Warriors organization. So let's dig a little bit deeper into Kelly Oubre. Oubre, for his lone season in Golden State, averaged 15.4 points a game on 44% shooting from the field, 31.6% from the three-point line, and 70% from the stripe, which is basically R.J. Barrett's rookie season when excluding the field goal percentage. And that really isn't a good thing per se for the 7-year pro in Oubre. He really didn't seem to fit that Golden State Warriors system like he did with that Phoenix Suns system the year prior, where off-ball movement, weak side motion offense, and triangle concepts are king in the Warriors systems for the most part, although they did incorporate a little bit more pick and roll in certain games to take advantage of Wiseman. And then would switch back to exploit Curry off the ball, where Steph went on to have an absurd season for the Warriors. But after a tough start to the season, he seemed to find his value on the team, even playing a few games as a small ball four off the bench before he injured his wrist in late May. This one is tough because I wasn't the biggest fan of Kelly Oubre when he was in Washington, gets traded over to Phoenix, and then you start to see him blossom in that second year. He put up 18.7 points a game, 45% from the field, 35% from three, 78% from the stripe. Most of those are career highs for him. And you started seeing him blossom under Monty Williams. Then he gets hurt, tears his meniscus, doesn't play in the bubble, even though he got pressed by the media and so-called analysts out there who would press him saying, hey, why aren't you playing in the bubble? Then they try to make it seem like it's a mental thing. And the thing with him, especially from what the Warriors or development guys in the Warriors have said, it seems like he struggled at first, but then it started to click with him, right? Regarding him understanding the offense and his place on the team, all the while his defense was stellar. And you even had Draymond Green call him the head of the snake on the defense. And so is it that this guy's finally coming into his own? Is he right at that part where he's going to develop into at 22 a night, 45% from the field, high 30s percentage from three type of guy? We're starting to click for him, and it's clicking for him late, and you don't want to miss out on that train. But then on the flip side, next year you got a guy in Zach Lavine who may fit with Tom Thibodeau a little more, given the fact he's played with him. He's a dynamic offensive player. Where do you go regarding Kelly Oubre? And that's the toughest thing. You don't know if he's starting to finally reach his ceiling. You give him that contract and you're reaping the rewards. You're reaping all the development this guy's going through, or are you getting a guy who just may never get it? And when you dig deeper into what happened with Golden State, it seems to be a fit and a discipline thing with the Warriors, where he had to be a playmaker more than just an attacker. Look at his assist to turnover ratio, which has been poor his whole career. But with the Warriors, where every screen and movement on and off the ball feeds into several trees of possibilities, and every pass has to be more precise than usual, Oubre's mistakes stood out even more. And the thing that analysts say about Oubre's playmaking is not as if he couldn't make those passes. He could, but that he really looked to make those plays and could be often seen as selfish, holding back the Warriors' free-flowing offense. It's tough because, like I said, you don't know whether you're getting a guy who's about to reach his ceiling or a guy who still has to go through some of the ugly stretches of development regarding his game, and you're giving him big money. So I'm going to list 4 reasons why I think Kelly Oubre could fill in the Knicks if he came at the right price. Number 1, his defense. He's still a very good defender. Ranks in the 73rd percentile against the pick and roll ball handlers, 83rd percentile for off screens, good against spot up shots, allowing 39.6% from the field, and excellent against post ups, ranking in the 90th percentile. All these factors are important for Tom Thibodeau's offense. With the help of the helper defense, the wing players are tasked with constantly helping out drives to the paint while needing to reset back to original assignment out on the perimeter. Number 2, his corner three-point shooting. Look, his overall three-point shooting is pretty bad. For the last year in Golden State, it was at 32%, and for his career, he's at 32.6%. But this past season in Golden State, he actually shot 38.6% from the corner three, which was his career best, and 35.4 of his shots were shot from that corner three, which was the second highest frequency, only second to his sophomore year in Washington. And as you all well know, one of Tom Thibodeau's offensive philosophies is to hit the corner three. It's the easiest three on the court. As the Knicks took the 9th highest corner three-point shot percentage this season at 9.1 frequency out of all shot attempts. Look at guys like RJ Barrett, who struggled with their three-point shot in his rookie season at least. But this season, under Tom Thibodeau's tutelage, he went on to go from 35.6% from corner threes on 29.9% frequency his rookie year to 42.4% on 42.7% frequency from corner threes. RJ went from 32% from three-point shots on 3.5 attempts a game to 40.1% on 4.3 attempts this season. You can't sit here and tell me that that corner three, as well as working with guys like Drew Hanlon, did not help RJ Barrett become a better three-point shooter. Julius Randle went from 38.5% on corner threes on 17% frequency to 41.2% on corner three-point shots on 22% frequency. Overall, Randle went from 27% from the three-point line on 3.6 attempts to 41% on 5.5 attempts a game. Even Reggie Bullock, who's always seen as this three-point specialist before the season, went from 30% from the corner three-point shot on 27% frequency to 46.8% three-point shooting on 31.7% frequency. He went from 33% on all three-point shots last year to 41% this season, going from 3.9 attempts to 6.1 attempts. I'm not saying that Tom Thibodeau is going to turn Kelly Oubre into Ray Allen or Michael Redd, but he definitely seems to have some keys to help unlock Kelly Oubre's outside shooting, especially when Kelly Oubre hypothetically will be coming to the Knicks with already strong percentage from the corner three. Utilize him even more in the corner and help him to build up his confidence, which will probably make his form a little bit more consistent and more refined, so that when he does seep out into other spots on the perimeter outside the corner, he'd have the confidence and the consistency to hit those shots and up his overall three-point shooting. Third, Kelly Oubre can help add to something that we're terrible at executing, and that's our transition offense. The Knicks are dead last in fast break points at 8.7 per game, while the Golden State Warriors were 5th in the league, and Oubre was a major reason. He averaged 53.9% from the field and 60.5% effective field goal shooting when taking into account three-point shots, producing 1.141 points per possession. If we're a team that wants to add athleticism and actually capitalize on our defense, we need guys who can close on turnovers generated. It's a small detail, but one that can make our defense more productive, rewarding, and prolific. Last but not least, Oubre would have a place where he'd have defined roles that would help eliminate bad decision making. And I'm not saying anything about Monty Williams or the Warriors. They have great coaching staffs, but again, it's all about fit. Sometimes you need that tough love. You need that old school teacher and mentor to get you in the right positions versus free-flowing offenses that might be a little bit more, would you say, commanded by players on the court, like, say, a Draymond Green. We saw how Julius Randle refined his decision-making under Thibs, especially from the double teams, whether he's at the deep post or the pinch post, going from an assist-to-turnover ratio of 1 to 1.74 this season. It's definitely a step up for Julius Randle. And granted, that's not a great ratio, but given this increased usage, you expect it. And you saw improvement, especially from the double team, something that plagued Julius Randle all throughout his first season with the Knicks. For RJ Barrett, he had a coach who's allegedly sabotaging his shooting progress with an independent trainer in Drew Hanlon, and had no real direction from Fizzo or Keith Smart or Mike Miller. Thibs comes to the team, utilizes him more effectively as a secondary playmaker, feature him more effectively in the pick and roll, where he learned how to trap defenders to get a better look at the basket, to be able to kick it out to the outside guys once the defenses collapse on him in the paint. And from that, RJ Barrett became a 35% scorer in the pick and roll his rookie season to 41.1%. Again, I'm not sitting here saying he's D-Wade, but decision making and effectiveness improved. He also improved his turnover ratio from 1.18 to 1.58. Again, I'm not saying he's Steph Curry, but these are small little improvements for a guy in his second year that might translate into things by his third and fourth year. And yes, he may never be Jimmy Butler, even though I call him that in some regards, but he became a more effective player under Thibs' direction, just like Jimmy Butler did years ago when he was with Thibodeau in Chicago. When you look at Oubre, all it takes is really one half of a three-pointer made a game to make him a 40% three-point shooter. And it takes one less bad pass to make him an effective decision maker from that wing position. And just to give the kid some credit regards to his overall development and even the perception of him with other players around the league, it seems to be opposite of what many fans think. Although many have seen him as annoying or a detriment doing push-ups on the floor blowing kisses, and they may not like it. I think many fans don't like it because they hate on him because he could probably steer a girl because he's a pretty boy. But anywho's, many fans see that, but it's actually the opposite with a lot of his teammates. They seem to like playing alongside him, think that he's one of the soldiers on the floor, think that he's a brother. From his teammate John Wall, who lamented how sad it was to see him go from Washington as he felt he was coming into his own, to Draymond Green, who said Kelly Oubre was ahead of the defense. It seems like a lot of the guys he's played with like playing alongside him. And the Warriors coaching staff started to see the improvement and the gradual understanding of the complex Warriors system that I spoke about earlier being finally instituted into Oubre's mental. Warriors player development coach Luke Locke spoke on Oubre being a hard worker, being extremely meticulous and working on his deficiencies in his game, being humble, being positive each and every day. And the only issue is just translating what he was already doing in practice onto the floor. Here's a little excerpt to give an example of how things are starting to click in regards to the offense and Oubre's mental.
Is there a specific game sequence, play, highlight of Kelly that you have shown him that says that was it? That's what we want you to be for this team?
We've kind of gone back and forth with Kelly because he's a really good off-ball cutter. But early on, because the timing wasn't there and the flow wasn't there, he would cut, and then it just kind of felt like he was in the way of what we were trying to do. And it wasn't just Kelly, it was multiple guys. And that's where you get this like lack of rhythm on our offense. So we were in San Antonio, and I forget who we played the game before, but there was a play where Kelly and others leading up to that point probably should have cut, and they didn't feel it, right? To his credit, he was wide open, and he actually ended up getting a kick out from Draymond and hitting a three, right? So in his mind, and in most people's mind, you're like, wow, that's a really good play. And to Draymond's point, and he brought it up in the film session along with Steve, is like, you know, you'll make that three, and that's a great shot. We expect you to save space, knock it down, have confidence. But if you cut, that's 100% shot, right? Draymond's going to throw a lob. You're going to dunk on someone. Beautiful. So Super Bowl Sunday, Draymond shows this clip in front of the team and then pulls Kelly aside and a couple other guys and breaks film down with them. Like has clips from some of us coaches, says, this is where I want you to cut. This is where I want you to stay space. This is what's going to happen when you cut. He pulled clips of Andre cutting and Looney back from our championship years, of KD pinning and slipping and cutting. And then this is what it looks like when you stay space. And you already are starting to feel that, but here's what it really looks like. And I'll never forget the next game, I'm blanking on who we played. And Kelly, same play, pick and roll, Steph and Draymond. Steph hits Draymond in the pocket, short roll. It's the same picture, right? Kelly cuts, Draymond lobs it up, dunks on the guy's head, and everyone goes bananas. Not necessarily because of the dunk, which was an amazing dunk, but it's the fact, like the growth, right? Now you're starting to feel this rhythm that we're trying to play with on offense. And that stuck out to me because especially I had no part in that. I'd showed Kelly similar clips and a lot of the other guys with their individual coaches had seen that, but it took Draymond pulling them aside and saying, listen, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and here's what's going to happen. And then bam, next game it happened. I'm like, all right, we're in this now.
Look, all in all, Kelly Oubre is a talented dude. The kid can ball. Despite what the rest of us may think, his teammates like him. He's a smart learner, a quick learner, let me say, a smart dude. His grasping the Warriors' offense seemed to click regarding getting mentally ingratiated into the system. You know, I was one of those guys last year on Julius Randle. I felt like he was a low IQ player. And this year, when he put it all together, the film room work, working over the summer, speaking with Tom Thibodeau, working with his trainer, he became a more effective player. Being able to pass out double teams, became one of our key, if not our most important facilitator on the team. So Kelly Oubre, when you look at his game, can he do the same thing? Can he elevate himself to become a more effective decision maker, clean up that assist to turnover ratio, make better shots, make better decisions on the court while slashing, cutting to the basket, while again using his quasi-elite defense to shut offenses down for the Knicks? Can he improve his three-point shooting to become a 40% three-point shooter by literally just making half of a three more in threes a game? It's tough with Kelly Oubre. Are you paying him $20 million? Again, I'm not sure if I'm doing that because I got Zach Lavine on the line for next year. But if the Knicks can develop a guy like Kelly Oubre to be that slashing wing, effective wing who would give you 20 plus points a night, high 30s% from the three-point line, a night guy, 45% from the field, 80% from the stripe, give you quasi Brandon Ingram numbers, and you're only paying $20 million a year? Would you do that? Maybe, because you really don't know how the market may seem or turn out, because every time it comes out that there's a player that wants to come to the Knicks, that doesn't happen. It's like, well, what happened to all that intel and all that juicy rumor news that was there before? So, you don't even know if you could possibly get a Lavine next year. We don't know. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Leave your comments, leave your likes before you get out of here. Subscribe to the channel, Legion of Knicks. Make sure to let me know how you're thinking about Kelly Oubre. Is Kelly Oubre a guy that you would sign for 18 mil, 20 mil plus a year? Do you think that he might reach a ceiling with the Knicks under Tom Thibodeau's tutelage, working with Drew Hanlon, who's also working with RJ Barrett? Let me know what you guys think. Very interesting signing, very interesting dude. I know some people are going to be really mad at me and say, Gmo, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I get it, but we have to go through each and every viable candidate that could be here with the Knicks next season. So guys, let me know what you're thinking about Kelly Oubre. Until next time, peace, salute, God bless. We out.